So we're going to talk about 6 things that make strings buzz. We're going to investigate the buzz. So if you play your chord and it sounds like this, you're going to investigate the buzz. Figure out what it is that you're doing that's causing your string to make this noise. Now, number 1, not pressing down hard enough. So right now I'm going to play everything perfectly, but I'm just not going to press down very hard. I just press down a little harder. Ease up just a little bit on my finger 3. Okay, so these sound good, but then finger 3 up here, I just pressed down and it cleared it up. Now, one of the ways that you can press down harder is to raise your fingers up like this. If they're like this, you're going to struggle. Keep your fingers straightened like this. Now, the second thing is the fatty part of the finger. It's this part of the finger right here, touching the string below it. So, for example, finger 3 is on this C note. So string 4 here is not clear. So when I go to play, even if I'm pressing down hard enough on all of the strings, but the fatty part is touching that. So it doesn't sound exactly right. Say if I was doing it with all of them, pressing down hard, but my chord doesn't sound clear because the fatty part is touching it. So again, the best way to solve that problem is to keep your fingers straight when you play, and that'll make sure that the fatty part of your fingers is not touching the string below it. And that'll come with practice. That might feel awkward right now, but it will definitely come to you much easier as you practice and improve. And that's all about practice. Sometimes you want the fatty part to touch it if you're trying to mute the string under it, like in this G5 chord here. I don't want this chord, this note to be heard. It's muted. But I'm doing that on purpose. If I wanted it to be muted, I would just simply raise my finger up, straighten my finger. Now, sometimes if your fingernails are a little too long, that could basically sort of make the first problem happen with not pressing down hard enough. If you're not able to press the strings down because your fingernail is too long, that'll kind of be similar to the first problem. So you want to keep your fingernails nice and short so you don't have that problem. If your chords are struggling at this stage, you might be able to solve the problem by just trimming your fingernails. Pause the video, trim your fingernails up, and you could be good to go. Now, number 4 is your fingers are too close to the fret line. Now, what that means is, now these are the fret lines. Remember, these are the frets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the fret lines. So if your finger is too close to the fret line, let's do our C chord here. And I'm going to put this finger 2 on the fret line, and I'm going to play the chord. Well, what's wrong there? So you see, finger 2 is on top of it. Not good. So watch what happens. I'm not going to press down any harder or any lighter, but I'm going to move it here. On the fret line, off the fret line. On the fret line, off the fret line. Now, the same problem can be back here, or even if you're just too close. See, I'm not on the fret line. Finger 2 is not on the fret line, but it is, pretty dang on close. So I'm going to keep it sort of in the middle here. Now, the rule of thumb is if your fingers are, if it's not the farthest finger down the fret, like in this case, finger 3 is going to be the farthest down the fret. But up here, you're going to want to keep it close to the fret line, but not too close. I like to keep mine right there at the front of the fret line, or right there at the edge of it, but on the side it needs to be on. Same here. Just before the fret line. That's what I meant to say, just before the fret line. Now with finger 3, since it's the farthest down the fret, keeping it in the middle is fine. You definitely don't want to keep it too close. You don't want to keep it too far. That's just awkward. So both of these fingers can be at the beginning or just before the fret line. And this finger 3 can be in the middle. Now another thing is the tip of your finger. Just the tip of your finger. See my calluses there. You'll get those if you practice a lot. If you play guitar a lot, you will definitely get calluses, and that's okay. You want that, so it doesn't hurt. So if it hurts now, don't worry about it. As you get your calluses, it'll hurt much less. But the tip of your finger touching the string above it. So for example, I'm doing this C chord here. Something sounds off. It's because the tip of my finger is ever so slightly touching the top of it. Now the number one culprit for making that is that you're not holding your fingers straight enough. So go ahead and straighten your fingers out. And that'll solve that problem. The last thing doesn't happen very much. Maybe sometimes, if you're playing an awkward, like if you're playing something like this, and see here, this part of my hand was touching string 2 there. And that was touching right here, was touching it. So again, you're not going to struggle with that a lot, but if that happens, it could be. So investigate the buzz, find out what's making your strings buzz, clear them up, take a minute to straighten them up. See, that was buzzing, and I just took a minute to your chords to be crystal clear. You don't even want to bother switching until it's crystal clear. So the first thing to master is making sure that all of your chords are clear.